What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome back to another episode of the NBA Talk Podcast for the week of December the 5th to December the 11th. I'm your host, Hani, and in this week's episode, we are discussing our main stories this week are going to be Mark Cuban still doesn't put Russell Westbrook in the superstar category. So we're going to talk about why Mark Cuban said this, and is he right or is he wrong about this situation. We're also going to talk about Nerlens Noel and how he could actually make his season debut this weekend, or by the time you're watching this, he may have already made his debut. So those are the two main stories for this week. We're also going to be talking about Carmelo Anthony and his beef with Phil Jackson. And we're also going to talk about who is right and who is wrong and why this is such a big mess. We're also going to be talking about the Celtics and how they're actually interested in trading for Andrew Bogut, And finally, we're going to talk about, for the third straight week, Donatas Monteunus and how the Rockets signed him to another brand new deal. So, without any further ado, let's get right into this. So Mark Cuban still doesn't put Russell Westbrook in superstar category. This is according to basketballrealgm.com, and it reports saying that Mark Cuban still isn't convinced Russell Westbrook is a superstar several months after he declared him short of his standard during last year's playoffs. Westbrook is averaging a triple-double to start the season. He's putting up superstar numbers. That's for damn sure, Cuban said of Westbrook. I'm not taking anything away from what he's been able to accomplish, but I'm not going to change my definition. He's putting up superstar numbers. You can't deny that. Cuban believes a true superstar can carry a mediocre roster to 50 wins and a postseason series win. That's no disrespect to Russell, Cuban said. He's been a beast. Few have done what he's done, but I'll stick to my definition. I'm not saying that he's not going to prove me wrong and that he won't be a superstar by the end of the year. That's fine, but I'll stick to my definition. Now, when I read this, there's one thing that comes to mind. That Mark Cuban, he's somewhat right, but at the same time, he's a little bit wrong here. Because he's right in the sense that a superstar is a player who can lead a mediocre team to success. So you can bring something of nothing, and if you're the superstar, you can lead that team. Now, he's wrong in the sense of saying that Russell Westbrook is not a superstar right now. Because he's been doing exactly what Mark's definition. Mark's definition is that, a superstar must be able to lead a mediocre team to at least 50 wins. Well, Russell Westbrook is on pace to do that. He's on pace to lead the Thunder to at least a 50-win season. And this team has literally nobody. They lost Kevin Durant, and now it's just a Russell Westbrook team now. Russell Westbrook is carrying this team. He's putting this team on his back, and he's leading this otherwise mediocre team to success. And they're winning with him. He's putting up amazing numbers. He's averaging a triple-double. As of right now, recording, he's had seven straight triple-doubles to this day. And that's fantastic. That's amazing. That's something that's unbelievable number. You don't even see LeBron James putting up 7 triple-doubles straight. That's just show that it's very, amazing stats. And it's not that he's just putting up the numbers. He's putting up the numbers, but he's helping the team at the same time. The team is winning games because of Russell. And that's what a superstar is. So I feel that Mark Cuban is kind of wrong here for saying that Russell Westbrook is not a superstar. Because he's proving, and he's proved actually to everybody why he is a superstar. Because he can step up in big moments. He can lead his team single-handedly. He's a one-man machine. Where his team is struggling, he'll step up. And he'll lead. He'll will his team to victory. And that's what a superstar is. Sure. I don't think 50 wins is the benchmark, in my opinion. I don't think you should label a player that not a superstar because of the amount of wins their team gets. Because, your team could be probably the worst team in the league. This is so much a superstar can do. Karl Anthony Towns, for example, comes to my mind. He's a superstar at this point. He's considered a borderline superstar. He's putting up great numbers, but why isn't his team winning? Because he's on a mediocre team. He's on a team that is very young right now, that needs to develop. It's hard. You can't will that team to win a lot of games. So it's a similar situation for Westbrook. So even if he doesn't win 50 wins, that doesn't deny the fact that he's a superstar, because he's still pushing this team. He's still the catalyst of this team. If he's not there, you take Russell Westbrook off this OKC team, who's left? There's nobody who can carry this team to victory or carry this team to wins. So even if they get 48 wins, even if they get 47 wins, maybe even 45 wins this season, that's not going to change my mind at the fact that Russell Westbrook isn't a superstar. He is a superstar. He's a bona fide superstar. I think he's more of a superstar than Kevin Durant personally, because Kevin Durant, yes, he's a great player, fantastic player, but there's so much Kevin Durant can do. Russell Westbrook, it just seems like this guy has endless possibilities. He can do everything on the floor. And that's what's so special about this guy. That's what everybody loves about this guy. And the fact that Mark Cuban is calling him out is a damn shame, because I respect the hell out of Mark Cuban. I think Mark Cuban will probably one of the smartest owners in the league right now. He knows what he's doing, but the fact that you're calling out a guy who is putting on crazy numbers here, and I know he meant no disrespect to Westbrook, but the fact that you're calling this guy out and saying he's not a superstar yet in my eyes is it's pretty messed up, man. It's like, what more does this guy have to do? So this guy has to bring this team to 50 wins for you to be satisfied that he's a superstar. I mean, I feel that's kind of a stupid reason, because this guy has already been proving to me, he's proved to me that he's a superstar, and he's still proving it to this day that he is a superstar in this league. He's one of the best, and he has been one of the best. And the fact for Mark Cuban to say that, I don't know. I just found that pretty disrespectful to Russell Westbrook, even though Mark Cuban didn't really mean it. So we're going to move on now to Nerlens Noel and how he could actually make his season debut this weekend, or he may have already done so by the time you're watching this. This is according to ESPN.com. So Nerlens Noel was part of the Philadelphia 76ers walkthrough shoot-around in New Orleans, but he won't play in Thursday night's game against the New Orleans Pelicans. Noel was close to returning to the court after having surgery on his left knee in October. The 22-year-old center spent the last week on a rehab assignment with the team's D-League affiliate, the Delaware 87ers. Head coach Brett Brown hinted that Noel could be available for Sunday's game against the Detroit Pistons. "We want to integrate him with the team," watched a lot of tape, Brown told the Philadelphia Daily News, "with the understanding that we have a chance to see him soon." So all that where we can ramp it up, where he can go to an NBA court more comfortable. Noel will return to a crowded Sixers front court that is anchored by Joel Embiid. The addition of Ersan Ilyasova and Jahlil Okafur's presence begs question how will Brown manage the rotation of bigs when Noel returns. Now I know a lot of you are going to be questioning, why is this a top story? I mean, it's Nerlens Noel. I mean, he's just returning. I mean, it was kind of expected. The reason why I find this so interesting, that I'm making a top story, is because of the question marks that Philadelphia has in their rotation. Because right now, they have such a huge logjam right now that you just don't know what's going to happen with this team. What's going to happen with this guy? He's a very talented player, but Philadelphia needs to figure something out right now. I think it's high time, and I mentioned this in like a few episodes now. Philadelphia needs to figure this out. They need to solve this puzzle about what are they doing with their roster. Because now that you're committed to winning, now that you're saying, okay, we're done losing, we want to win. But how? You gotta show us, you gotta show the fans, you gotta show everybody in the league that, look, we're trying to win here. We want to make some moves, and we want to, get somewhere. But you gotta show it. And the way you show it is that you make a move. You update your roster. You form a good roster. And I don't think the 76ers have that right now. I don't think they have that yet, but I don't think it's out of the window. Quite honestly, and I mentioned this last week, I think Philadelphia should trade Nerlens. You have to trade this guy. I think it's high time. Because look, even right now, if Nerlens debuts, if he comes back to the Sixers lineup, how is Brett Brown going to manage these minutes? I mean, you have to give minutes to Joel. You have to give this guy minutes. Jaleel, he's developing. You should give this guy minutes, especially when he's on the Sixers team. Ilyasova hasn't played fantastic for the Sixers since he got traded from the Thunder. So you gotta play this guy a lot. Then, don't forget about Dario Saric. He's there too. So that's 4 big men who already deserve it, and then plus Nerlens. So how are you gonna manage minutes? What? Are you gonna give 10 minutes to Joel, 10 minutes to Jaleel, 10 minutes to Ersan, 10. Or, there's just so many questions. I don't think you can even integrate this guy into the lineup unless you sacrifice something on someone other player's minutes entirely, which I don't think is right. Because the Sixers are finding some chemistry right now. They're finding something to gel. I think Ilyasova and Embiid are a great combo in the front court because they can both shoot, they can both stretch the floor. So they're a great combo. So I don't think Brett Brown should break that up. I think that he should continue with that. So that's why I say the best possible scenario right now is to trade Nerlens. His trade value is high right now, relatively. He wants to get out of Philadelphia, reportedly. So just make it happen. I think the best possible deal for Philadelphia to make right now is to trade Nerlens and try to get something for either Sergio Rodriguez, try to trade him, or trade one of the other guys. Trade maybe Rashawn Holmes or someone who is a guy who's been showing glimpses of potential. And also trade a couple of picks as well. Because if Philadelphia can give a package like that, that's a very intriguing deal for a lot of teams, especially struggling teams. Like Phoenix would be interested. I think Portland is very interested right now. Reportedly, they are interested in Noel right now. Boston might actually want to take a flyer on him. Actually, here's a better deal for the Sixers. How about hypothetically, you trade Noel and Noel and Rashawn Holmes and a first round pick and try to get who is in Boston? Try to get somebody. Try to get maybe Jaylen Brown. Try to get him. Try to get Jay Crowder. Try to get somebody from Boston over. Or trade with Portland. Try to get some deal with Portland going. Maybe go for a small forward there. Go for a point guard there. I think a guy like Shabazz Napier should be a good fit for Philadelphia. I think because Shabazz Napier doesn't get any minutes with Portland. With Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Shabazz doesn't get a lot of minutes. So I think the best thing for him as a developing young point guard, a guy who really just hasn't been given the opportunity to shine, should come to Philadelphia where he can play in a system where he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to be a starting point guard. I think that's a great deal. Quite honestly, I think that's a fantastic deal. Trade Noel, and maybe Rashawn Holmes for Shabazz Napier and maybe a first round pick. I think that's a great package. That's a good package. Or if not Shabazz and a first round pick, Shabazz and somebody else on Portland's team. Because Portland needs defense. They need rim protection. They've been terrible at defense. And I think Nerlens is the guy who can fix that. And Rashawn will be a great energy guy off their bench. So, I don't know. I mean, if you guys have any ideas on a possible trade for Noel, let me know in the comment section down below. But I think that's a solid deal. I think that's something that can work out. And I think they will benefit both sides as well. But let me know what you guys are thinking. But overall, I think Philadelphia, you gotta trade Noel right now. And I think the story in general is interesting because it's so many questions right now. You can say, how is Brett Brown going to manage minutes? What are they going to do in Nerlens? Who are they going to receive for him? What are they going to do? So it's a great scenario right now. It's a very confusing one, but I think out of all this, they should trade Nerlens because that's the right thing to do, and this is the time to do that move right now. So we're going to move on now. Now, this has been a very interesting story throughout this week. So now, I'm going to first take you to when it actually started. So Knicks, Phil Jackson says Carmelo Anthony tends to hold the ball too long. This is according to the Score. New York Knicks president Phil Jackson believes Carmelo Anthony is playing the same role Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan did for his previous teams, but he thinks Anthony sometimes needs to dish the ball off faster. Carmelo a lot of times wants to hold the ball longer than we have a rule. If you hold it past 2 seconds, you benefit the defense. Jackson told CBS Sports, we need to talk in a wide-ranging discussion that also covered his controversy with LeBron James and marijuana use. So Anthony has a little bit of a tendency to hold it for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then everybody comes to a stop. Jackson added, that is one thing we work with, but he's adjusted. Jackson was framing the answer yet to another question about whether Anthony fits into the triangle offense. He can play that role that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant played. Jackson said, it's a perfect spot for him to be in the isolated position on the weak side because it's an overload offense, and there's a weak side man that always has an advantage if the ball swung. It's also worth pointing out that the Knicks have been running far less triangle sets under new coach Jeff Hornacek due to, in part, to the continued emergence of 7'3" stretch big Kristaps Porzingis. By Hornacek's own admission, according to ESPN's Ian Begley, the Knicks run the triangle nowhere near 50% of the time. At this point, Jackson has become so synonymous with the venerable offense that he can't escape the questions about it. Even if the team isn't employing that often, he did concede, however, that the system, like any other, is only as good as those using it. It's always a little bit of a pie in your face type of thing to say that the triangle offense has been the reason for winning. Jackson said, the reason for winning obviously is good players, and when good players want to play together and they join in a form or a format to play together, then really good things happen. So this was Phil Jackson. This is what he said about Carmelo Anthony. So I have a few problems with this. Number one, Phil Jackson needs to forget about the triangle now. Because at this point, you are pushing it to such an extent where you're like, oh, triangle. Bro, it might have worked for you with Kobe and MJ, but this is not Kobe and MJ. This is Melo, Porzingis, Rose. These aren't those players you had back then. These are not a team that's built to run the triangle. As much as you want it to be, it's not gonna be that. I don't know why you keep hampering on that point. Why can't you let Jeff Hornacek run the offense he wants to run? I mean, think about it. Jeff Hornacek is a sharpshooter, so he knows how to organize the floor where he can get a lot of shots up. This team likes to shoot too. You got sharpshooters like Melo, you got Brandon Jennings, you got Porzingis, you got Rose. There's a lot of sharpshooters on this team. So why not let Hornacek off the chain so he can come up with these ideas, get this team to start creating some better offense? This team has been playing well. So for these last few games, they've been playing well. And the fact that they're not using the triangle a lot just shows that they don't want to play the triangle. They don't like the triangle. Melo especially doesn't like the triangle. So why can't Phil Jackson let it go? Just let it go, man, like legit. It's honestly coming to the point where even us fans are annoyed as hell. Because now we're just like, when is this guy ever going to get over the one idea that, oh, I want to implement the triangle. The triangle is the way to go. It's not. It may have worked in the past. You may have won 11 championships with that. But it's not the only solution. It's not. That's my first point. Second of all, why the hell would you call out Carmelo Anthony to the media? Like, what reason would you talk bad about your star player in front of the media? Like, I didn't understand it. When this whole news story broke, that was the one thing I'm like, why would, like, my reaction was this: why would he say that? Why would you say that before the game, before he plays the Caps? You know, even after you messed up talking about LeBron James, you're talking about your own player. This is your own player on your team before a big game, and you tell everybody that he's a ball hog. Like, couldn't you have told Melo this in private? Couldn't you say, look, Carmelo, look, I think, I have a kind of an issue with you holding the ball too much. I think if you, start moving the ball a little bit more, I think our offense will have a little bit more success. If Phil Jackson had a conversation like that with Melo, I wouldn't have any problem with that, because I say that's his responsibility as a GM, as a president, to let his players know that, look, I mean, you're doing something that I don't like, so I'm giving you a recommendation to fix it. So Melo, he would have been okay with it. He said, okay, fine. Thanks for letting me know, Phil. I'll work on that. But if you're blowing this out to the media, why? Why are you getting all this attention on Melo? Now, even after the game, Melo's like, I don't want to talk about this. Why the hell do I want to talk about this? I don't know what the hell I'm going to say. What the hell am I going to say? Well, I don't know. My GM's an idiot. Like, that's my reaction to it. And I didn't understand it at all. I felt that it was kind of stupid. I felt it was pointless. And I felt that it embarrassed the Knicks. It embarrassed your own team. It embarrassed Phil Jackson. It embarrassed Carmelo Anthony. So it was completely stupid in my opinion. So that was Phil Jackson. But then later on, a few days later, Carmelo Anthony actually posted a picture to Instagram where he captioned it as, ego is the only requirement to destroy any relationship. So be a bigger person and skip the E and let it go. So this is also according to the card. Carmelo Anthony may not want to talk about Phil Jackson's critique of him holding the ball too long and hindering the New York Knicks offense, but that's not keeping him from writing about it. In an Instagram post published Thursday afternoon, the 32-year-old took to what appeared to be a shot at the Knicks president of basketball operations by discussing ego and how it's better to be the bigger person. He then followed that up hours later with an image of the late great Muhammad Ali and how he's unfazed, although he didn't specify what exactly he was referring to. Unfazed, my life summed up in one photo. The Knicks are coming off of a demoralizing defeat at the hand of the defending NBA champions on Wednesday, so the possibility that remains that Anthony's remarks had something to do with that. Then again, the timing of his post and his overall vagueness points towards Jackson being the target. So this was Melo's response to this. He's basically saying, look, Phil Jackson, you need to calm your ego. You know, you may know everything, you may be the 11-time champion, but you can't just go criticizing people like that to the media without, having a legit reason to do so. And I think Melo has all the right to call Phil Jackson out on this, because Phil Jackson made a mistake. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't understand this. Melo doesn't understand this. I don't think the New York Knicks team understands this. Because Phil Jackson basically just embarrassed his own franchise for no good reason. Like, I thought it was completely pointless. And that's why, I just feel that it's a whole bunch of garbage what's going on. Because Phil Jackson, not only did you mess up with LeBron James, which I didn't even want to cover because it was completely stupid what happened, but not only did you mess up with LeBron James, but you're not messing up with your own player. And you don't want to mess up with your player. This is your star player. This is the guy who you want to keep. You would want to keep him on your team. Even though he's 32 years old. He wants to stay here. You should want to keep him. He's a superstar. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to keep Melo on their team. But overall, man, I just feel that Phil Jackson completely messed up here. And I think Melo has all the right to be upset with Phil Jackson, because Phil Jackson legit made one of the worst, decisions of his career right now. Like, he called out LeBron James for something ridiculous, and now he's calling out his own player. Like, Phil Jackson needs to control himself. He needs to realize what he's doing wrong here, and that he's making some mistakes here, and he's costing his team. And the second thing is, I want him to forget about the triangle. I want him to realize that, look, there's other ways to win. The triangle isn't the only way you can win. That's what I want Phil Jackson to do. So those are my takes on this. I mean, if you guys have anything different, let me know. As always, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, man, this is extremely frustrating. It's extremely stupid, in my opinion, that I have to bring this up. But this is what happened this week, and it's honestly ridiculous, in my opinion. So we're going to move on now. So Celtics are interested in trading for Andrew Bogut. This is according to The Score. The Boston Celtics are interested in trading for Dallas Mavericks center Andrew Bogut, according to ESPN's Mark Stein. Reports earlier in the week suggested the Mavericks would look to unload Bogut if their playoffs hopes continue to fade, and the Celtics are a logical fit, given their lack of size and rebounding up front. However, Boston would need to unload a big contract on the Mavericks in order to absorb Bogut's $11 million salary. It's unclear who the Celtics will look to ship, but big man Tyler Zeller would be an option given his struggle to see the court of late. Bogut is expected to miss 2 weeks with a knee bruise, so it's unlikely the Celtics will look to acquire him prior to his return. The 7-footer is averaging 3.8 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 0.9 blocks in 16 games in the Mavericks this season. I think this is a great move by Boston. I think that they legit need to solve the issue that they have right now. Their team can't rebound. They're getting out-rebounded by teams. They're giving teams second chance possessions, and it's hurting them. It's legit hurting them. They need to solve the issue, and I think they're saying, you know what? We gotta fix this now before the playoffs. We can't let the playoffs come by and we don't have an answer to this. We can't let them, because they're gonna get killed in the playoffs, where you need to corral all the rebounds. You need a lot of second chance opportunities, and if you're not getting them, then you're missing out on a lot of points. And I think Andrew Bogut fits what the Celtics are looking for. They need a rebounder, and Andrew Bogut's a really good rebounder. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game. He may not be the best offensive player, but Bogut is that guy who not only is a great defensive presence, but he also can rebound the ball. And that's exactly who Boston needs. And I think sending over Tyler Zeller is a good choice as well, because Tyler Zeller hasn't been effective for Boston this season. So if he hasn't been effective and he's not solving your needs, trade him. And I think since the Mavericks are having a really bad season, you know, it's a good opportunity to target them, because, you know, they're weak right now. They're vulnerable. They'll say, you know what, you know what, there's no point keeping this guy. And I believe Bogut might be a free agent this year. I'm not exactly sure. He might be a free agent this year, but I think, and especially Bogut. I think Bogut might even want out of Dallas. He'll say, well, if we're not winning here, at least can you guys let me leave? So I think it's a great move. I think this is a great decision by Boston. I think it's a great way for both sides to get what they want. Because look, Dallas needs to rebuild, and Tyler Zeller, he's not a bad player. He's a great young center. And I think he flourished last year because he was starting and because he was getting a lot of minutes to perform and be great. But now that Al Horford is here, he's not getting a lot of minutes. Especially now that Kelly Olynyk is healthy, there's not a lot of minutes to go around for Tyler Zeller. So, from that standpoint, I think trading him, giving him a fresh start on a rebuilding young team in Dallas will be a great move for him, because he'll be able to expand in a better role that will fit him better. But overall, I like the idea of the Celtics getting Bogut, because I think it will really help them out in the area that they really need a lot of help in, which is rebounding. So overall, I love the move, and I'm a big fan of it right now. And finally, the last story I have. For the third time in 3 weeks, Donatas Montaigne has made my podcast. So the Houston Rockets have signed Donatas Montaigne to a new 4-year, $35 million deal. This is according to BasketballRealGM.com. The Houston Rockets have pulled their matched offer sheet to Donatas Montaigne and have signed him to a new 4-year deal, $35 million. The deal contains an additional $2 million in unlikely bonuses that could make it worth as much as $37 million. Houston matched the Brooklyn Nets 4-year, $37 million offer sheet signed by Montaigne that became a 4-year, $31 million deal because of lost bonuses. Montiunas broke restricted free agency convention by not reporting for his physical last week. The parameters of the new deal are similar to the ones Montiunas signed with the Nets, with only one season fully guaranteed. Montiunas will receive $8.3 million in the guaranteed money this season, and the Rockets will own a team option in each July over the next 3 years. Montiunas can improve. Another improved aspect of the deal from the Rockets' perspective is Montiunas can be traded within 3 months without his consent. Montiunas just keeps digging himself into a hole, man. This guy legit created a snowball effect where now he's in such a bad position right now. So let me explain the scenario. So Montiunas, he wanted more money from Houston. Houston didn't give him the more money he wanted because of concerns of his back pain. Alright? The Brooklyn Nets come along and say, okay, we'll offer you an offer sheet, but with a lot of protection. There was a ton of protection on that deal. And Houston had time to match the offer. So I reported last week that Brooklyn signed him to the deal, but then a day later, Houston matched the offer. So Houston matched the offer, and so, but apparently Montiunas didn't show up for the physical. So Houston's like, you know what? He didn't show up for the physical, but, so we're gonna pull this offer. We're gonna say, you know what? Screw you. We're gonna pull the offer. And now they signed him to a new deal. And this new deal is worth $35 million for 4 years. Now, only 1 year is guaranteed. Because that 1 year is guaranteed, which he'll make around $8.3 million. Okay. But he's only guaranteed for this year. And each of the next 3 years, he's not. It's not guaranteed. So, again, like I said last week, Montiunas has basically backed himself up to a wall here. Where if he doesn't perform, if he doesn't stay healthy, he's done. Like, I don't think anybody will want him after that. Because Houston has given him a chance. Houston has given him an opportunity. And Houston is like, you know what? You wanted more money from us, but now let's see what happens. We'll give you a little bit of money. We'll see what happens with you. If you earn your contract for next season, we'll give you the contract next season. But you have to continuously keep earning your contract for the next 4 seasons if you want to remain with us. If you want to remain. Another incentive is that he can be traded within 3 months. So if it doesn't work out, literally Montiunas can be gone like this without even his consent. He can be traded like that. Let's see, it's December, so by March. He can be traded by March. It's crazy, man. This guy is, I don't know what he's doing, man. I really feel like he was being really stupid here. He messed up, and now he's regretting it, man. Like, he's legit regretting his mistake of not taking Houston's first offer. And now, look at this. He's backed himself up to a wall. Here, now he doesn't know what to do. He has nothing. He can't do anything. His only thing to do is just to play hard and try to, impress Houston's enough that they can pick up his option for the next year. But that's all I got for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave this episode a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube if you want to see the video version of the podcast. We're also going to have various different audio versions of the podcast. I know I said that last week, but I'm going to see if I can try to get it up this week. So keep your eye on the description of the YouTube video. So subscribe on the various channels if you want to find the podcast. Follow me on social media. I'm mostly active on my Twitter, but you can also find me on Facebook as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'm Hani from NBA Talk, and I'll see you all in the next episode of the NBA Talk podcast. Thank you so much for watching.